Here's an example of the imperfect subjunctive tense. Esperaba que te suscribieras a mi casa es tu casa, in order to receive weekly Spanish content uploaded straight into your YouTube feed. Hey guys, welcome back. So today we're going to be talking about the imperfect subjunctive, or the past subjunctive, el imperfecto subjuntivo, all that. And that's like if you've ever seen tuviera, hubieras, or possibly tuviese. Maybe you've seen that. So let's get straight into it. So when do you use it? I have another video about when to conjugate it into the subjunctive versus when to use the indicative. However, just to quickly go over that, don't use the indicative if something is a fact. And a way to remember this, it could be using the phrase voces. So for example, you have, not a phrase, but whatever. So the V stands for verdad, obvio, claro, evidente, seguro. So if something es verdad, es obvio, es claro, or es cierto, es evidente, es seguro. So if it's a fact, if it's obvious, that's when you don't use the subjunctive. And then you just use the indicative. Here are just some examples of the imperfect subjunctive. So I have it in the present subjunctive, then the imperfect one. So at the top, I said, quiero que vengas al banco conmigo. I want you to come to the bank with me, versus quería que vinieras al banco conmigo. So one, I want you to, and one was I wanted. It's in the past, it's done. That's why you use the imperfect. So next we have era bueno que recibiera un trabajo. It was good that he received the job. Si fuera el rey gastaría tanto dinero. So in this one, we're starting with the imperfect subjunctive, and then we use the conditional after that. I'll go into that a little bit later. One thing I just wanted to quickly say is that the form I guess you can take the normal form would be the past tense of a verb, which, by the way, preterite or imperfect work here. It's not just restricted to the imperfect because that is imperfect in the name. It doesn't have to be like era bueno que. It could be fue bueno que, and you still use the imperfect subjunctive. Just wanted to add that on, and then you have the K, and then you conjugate the perfect subjunctive. Okay, so now how to conjugate into the imperfect subjunctive. This is probably the best tense. It's the easiest one to learn, I think. I say that for a lot, but it's definitely very easy because there are no irregular verbs. Everything makes sense. It's not like subjunctive where there's a ton of irregular, it's hard to understand. It's not like the preterite, nothing like that. Everything's regular here. And the hardest part about it is to start, you have to conjugate it in the preterite. And it comes from the eos, or the plural form of the preterite, conjugated verb. And then after that, you get rid of the ron at the end, and then you add the ending. So that will make more sense with an example. So, for example, hacer, you can know it's eos hicieron, right? And then you get rid of the ron, hicie, and then you'd add the ending. And if we're conjugating the two, you'd add the ras. So hicieras. Well, I could say something like esperaba que hicieras la tarea. So I was hoping that you did the homework, or you do the homework. Here's some other examples. So estars estuvieron, ellos estuvieron. So it'll be estuviera, yeah. And when I put a accent in front of the nosotros form, that's because whatever letter, whatever vowel comes in front of the ron, you'd put an accent on there. I believe it's only A's and E's, you'll see. So that's pretty good. So that's why it's like fuéramos, estuviéramos. Yeah, so obviously ir and ser becomes fueron, and then fuera, fueras. Conducir, condujeron. Same with traer, trajeron. Use trajera. Leer would be leera. Seguir, siguiera. Last thing to add is that if you have a verb that contains another verb inside of it, so for example, mantener, to maintain, you would be like mantuviera. It's not different. It has tener inside of it, so you still conjugate it like tener. Obviously, if you know the preterite, you know that would be like mantuvieron, but just wanted to say that. And one thing to add too is if you did not know the preterite, basically the ending that you add for it for most verbs is just aron for ar and eron for er or ir. Just to add that on. Just to name a couple others. Okay, so now this is what kind of confused me originally is if you look on one of the most popular websites, Spanish Dict, you'll see something called the imperfect 2. And like the imperfect and the preterite, where it's like, oh, when do I use this one versus when do I use this one? It means exactly the same thing as the imperfect subjunctive one, I get the normal one. So this is with S's. Or S's and E's, I guess. So here you can see fuera, yo fuera. And then here it's fuese. So the R becomes an S, the A becomes an E. For this one, the R becomes an S, fuera, fueses. The A becomes an E, and then the S stays the same. The same with the other ones too. Fuéramos, fuésemos. So they use these kind of in like other countries. So I believe it might only be Spain. I'm not 100% sure though. Maybe. It doesn't really matter because it's just like vosotros and like vos and stuff like that. It's just regional differences. However, in class you're probably learning just the R one. The S one is not incorrect though. So if you want like a comparison, supiera, supiese, supiera, supieses, supierais, supieses. Yeah, just like that. So another way you can set it up is starting the sentence with the imperfect subjunctive and then using the conditional after. So by starting with the imperfect subjunctive, you're kind of creating a condition, I guess, to say the least. And then you'd use the conditional after. So if I had a lot of money, it's theoretical. It's not the truth. So that's why it's subjunctive. If I had a lot of money, I would travel through the whole world. Si tuviera, you could start with tuvieron, and you get rid of the ron, tuvie, and then you add the ra for the yo, and it's tuviera. So si yo tuviera mucho dinero, viajaría por todo el mundo. Oh, whoops, that's incorrect. It would be like that. And you have to know conditional too, but going into this, you probably know conditional already. Here's some other examples. Si ganáramos el partido, no nos sentiríamos triste. If we won the game, we wouldn't feel sad. If I were a girl, I would buy feminine clothes. Principally, I hear tuviera or fuera the most. However, you're not just restricted to that. I just wanted to point that out. Lastly, what if you have haber? And you'd say something like, quería que hubieras acabado la tarea ya. So, in the preterite, haber would be hubieron, so you conjugate it, it'd be hubiera. So I wanted you to have finished the homework already. That's just one example in the perfect. There's a lot of others, but this is the perfect conjugation. And it's still in the imperfect subjunctive technically. And I just wanted to show that example off. Yeah, that's about it. So thanks for watching. You're basically fluent now. Look at that.